Oh,
Okay. What's up, everybody? Hello, everyone. I hope everything is going well. Just waiting for a few more people to get in here. I'm Karen Mahorn, aka the Blur Girl, and I'm here with Roy Okupwe, the founder of Youneek Studios, and we are launching. This is the Oloris launch party. We're so excited because you've heard us talk about
yay.
it for months and months and months, and now it's finally here. You can get your hands on the Oloris graphic novel, and we're gonna have guests, and we're gonna have a few other things over the next 90 minutes. We're going a little bit longer than we did last week. And we're just waiting for a few more people to show up in the chat. How are you doing today, Roy?
I am good. Launch day. It's always a mixed bag of feelings. Like,
It's a mixed bag.
yeah, I mean, because you work hard now, like, oh, like launch, and then the day just comes and it's like, especially when it's not a Kickstarter, when it's like the book is launching in stores and Amazon, it's just like you don't get to see that immediate interaction, right? So it's kind of weird for someone who's done 10 Kickstarters. Like now it's like
So
launching.
it's like quiet. It's like launching in silence.
Yeah, that's what it's so weird. But no, it's also there's a lot of gratitude to I was thinking earlier today that this is I can't even count. I think this is my 11th or 10th graphic novel.
Wow.
And again, not like floppy comics, like 100
Yeah,
page graphic
100 some
novels.
odd
So,
pages. Yeah, I don't think you've ever done a floppy, have you? Maybe New Comic Book Day?
for Free Comic Book Day, I've done a few, and that's because they wouldn't let me do graphic novels.
They're
So
like, we're not giving you 100 pages for free, sir. That's not how this works.
yeah, but I think today there's a lot of gratitude and just being thankful to be able to hit this milestone. Like I even actually I brought them all here.
Oh wow, you brought all the
Yeah, so
wow,
these are all the graphic novels so far. So yeah.
wow. Do me a favor because I see people in Instagram sort of uh popping in. If you can see us because we're platform streaming across multiple platforms here: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Give us some emojis in the chat so that I know that everybody can like hear us and see us.
Yes, please.
Because we don't want to be talking to ourselves for like an hour before we realize nobody can hear a thing.
Nobody actually joined.
Okay, so Chalua, thank you for letting us know that you can see us all three places.
Awesome.
Ogundipe Ayumide Michael. This is one of your biggest fans over on Facebook.
Yes, I
He's
know.
he's very excited. This
And
is
I'm very
awesome.
excited to see you. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure getting your messages. It's really, really inspiring to see how the work has really also inspired you to do your own thing. So thank you for sending those very kind messages.
Yeah, we like good comments. Like anybody who wants to comment, no, we're never going to not want a nice comment. Thank you so much. So I don't know, show of hands, how many people were here for last week's live stream, or did you not catch that one? And if you didn't, that's okay. We're just kind of trying to read the room and get an idea of, because if there's a lot of you who are new here, we'd like to introduce you to Youneek Studios.
Yes.
But if you're all old friends, we'll start in the middle of the story. So let us know. Great series with Malika, D33 Will says over on Instagram. Lenthart, thank you. Okay, so we have a pulse. Uh Eliyahu here from Eliyahu here on Facebook and showing support. Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Great. So we are seeing people from multiple platforms. That's good. And everybody can hear us.
Yes.
So show us those books again. You were just
Oh
saying
yes.
these are all the graphic novels that you've kickstarted since the beginning.
Yes. So some of them may look different for people who've been with us since the beginning. So, obviously when I was self-publishing, for instance, this Malika book was broken into two
Okay.
in the back. So what Dark Horse did, because I did before Dark Horse, I had Malika part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Uh-huh.
They combined part 1 and part 2 into Malika volume 1. And then they combined, if I have it here, actually. So I don't have some books. Oh, and I do here. Yeah. They combined part 3 and part 4 into Malika Volume 2 as well. So yes, these are my babies. Yeah.
These are your babies, and then your real life baby we hear her in the background.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
got several babies.
You're going to hear a lot of that because it's nap time and she doesn't like to nap. So get
That's
ready.
okay. Neither does her father, apparently. Because there's literally no way you can get all these done if you get any sleep.
Oh my
So
god,
apparently there's no napping.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
There's no napping in the Akufwe household. Maury Lewis says, really dope to see more Black stories being created. Yes, and West African stories as
Yeah.
well. So I think we have some new people in here. So let's just briefly, again, give them an idea of what is Youneek Studios. And you've also mentioned Dark Horse Comics a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and how certain things changed in there. So first, what is Dark Horse Comics? I'm sorry, what is Youneek Studios? When did that start? And when did you partner with Dark Horse Comics?
Yeah, I mean, Youneek Studios is it's the best way to describe this now because it has evolved over the years. Youneek Studios, it's a multi-dimensional entertainment and media company. So we do graphic novels, comic books, animation, and hopefully in the future, video games, live action, and the like. But
Oh, video games. Okay.
yes, I said in the future. I didn't say now. So
You heard it here first, folks.
yeah, so hopefully in the future. But yeah, I mean, our focus is telling African inspired stories in the fantasy, sci-fi, and superhero genre. I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, so I've always wanted to create stories that sort of like touched on cultural elements that I grew up, obviously being surrounded by. So yeah, culture, history, mythology, infusing that with some of the typical things that you would see in fantasy, sci-fi, and superheroes, as well. So I mean, it started Youneek in 2015. It's going to be 10 years now. In June of this
Wow.
year. Yeah, 10 years since EXO Volume 1, Part 1 launched. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but like I always try to remind people, I wouldn't be here without the fans that have been so gracious in terms of their support. Many of you are on this live stream right now.
And yes, you have some amazing fans because we did a little practice run yesterday and people were showing up like, hey, is the book out? When's the animation coming? Where's Malika? I'm like, oh my God, literally, we're just testing the camera, guys. I don't
Yeah.
have these answers.
Yeah.
So you definitely have some very, very strong fans. And I love to see it because that means you couldn't do this, like you said,
Yeah.
without the fandom. That is
Yeah.
what's most important.
Yeah.
What I'm also excited about is the fact that this is the beginning. So the Oloris, what we're celebrating today, in case anybody was confused, is the launch, yes, of the Oloris. He has it there. And we can also, here, I'm just going to show it on our screen. This is what it looks like.
It looks better on my screen though.
Not, it does, well, yours is flipped around. I want them to be able to read it.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
To be able to read it. So they're not like Cirilo? Like, no, Oloris. So please, if you can, pick up the comic today. Graphic novel. I actually don't want to call it a comic book. I want to call it a graphic novel because it's over 100 pages. What is it, 160 some odd pages?
This one, I think, is 140, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about your average.
Yeah. And this, just FYI, this one is 324 pages.
Because that's volumes 1 and 2 together?
Yeah, part 1 and part 2. Yeah, to make volume 1. Yes.
Right. So the what's great about the Oloris is that first of all, you've got to go pick it up. So
yes,
please go to your favorite bookstore or comic book shop. You can also order from your comic book shop.
Yes, please.
And you can, the biggest thing that we need right now, I would say, is, excuse me, for those of you who've pre-ordered, if you have it, when you get it, please go to Books A Million, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and leave a review so other people can see how good it is and they will buy it as well. So please, please, please leave some reviews. If you've read the first chapter, go in there and leave a review. You have some knowledge of the, the story. So please check it out.
I can't stress how important that is. Not just for algorithms and blah blah blah, but I mean, it's just think about it now. Before you buy something, whether it's online or in store or whatever. Like we all look at reviews right now. So if you've enjoyed the book, if you enjoyed chapter one, if you enjoyed all my other books, I would really really recommend and ask and maybe even beg that you leave a review, because it does help, and it goes a long way. I also wanted to send a shout out to Book Nook in Lagos, Nigeria. They also carry our books now. So if you are
Yes.
in Lagos, you are not excluded. You are not excluded. And I
Finally,
yes,
Nigerians can
finally,
get books
yes.
about Nigerian
I know, right?
superheroes.
Yeah. So yeah, please visit Book Nook, go to their website or go to their store in Lekki. Right now you can grab our books as well.
Awesome. So I cut you off a little bit when you were talking about your relationship with Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Dark Horse does not own your IP, correct?
No, they don't. So my deal with Dark Horse is strictly for them to be a publisher and distribute my books. They've been, Dark Horse has been very, 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 what's the word that I will use? They've been really good for me personally and Unique Studios in general, because number one, Dark Horse has freed me to really focus on the thing that I really want to do, which is create stories. It's not like I wasn't good at marketing and sales and distribution and doing all those things, but I'm just one person. And to me, my biggest contribution, it comes from telling the stories and telling them the right way and building this world. So Dark Horse has really freed me up to do that. And they obviously like promote the books and get them to stores, not just here in the US, but also in the UK, parts of Europe, as well. Obviously, Dark Horse also partners with Penguin Random House, so that gives us a very, very large wide range of places that the books can exist in. So yeah, Dark Horse has been a great partner for us. They love the books, they love supporting Unique, and yeah, it's been a good relationship in terms of just really getting the stories out there to more people to be able to be exposed to the Unique universe.
I completely agree. Now let's talk a little bit about the link to basically West African lore. You said you grew up in
Yeah,
Lagos, Nigeria.
yeah,
A lot of these characters, are they like based exactly on, let's say, like characters from Yoruba folklore or like gods, Orisha, whoever? Are they direct, correlations, or have you taken bits of history from across all of
yeah.
West Africa to build these stories?
I mean, that's a good question. So the way I like to work is, for me, every story, every character has something that's rooted on the continent. It doesn't matter whether that's past, present, or some of the sci-fi and Afrofuturist stories that I tell. There always has to be a root that connects to something real. That being said, like the Unique universe is a fictional world,
Mhm.
and there's a lot in the world that's inspired by real life places, real life people, and real life concepts and culture and history from the African continent. For instance, now Malika Warrior Queen, which was one of my second title to that I wrote, is inspired by the real life Queen Amina of Zazzau, who was also a warrior queen that existed in I believe it was the 16th century in the northern part of what we have in Nigeria now, in Zaria, which is a very real place. So for me, it was about looking at Queen Amina's life and seeing the parts of that I really wanted to sort of like bring to the public's eye, but then also infusing my own taste in terms of some of the things that I grew up being influenced about whether it's a Lord of the Rings or Troy, and really bringing that element into my storytelling.
Not Troy. Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. I got to stop you there. Not Troy. That was not a good movie.
Yes, it was. Look, do you want to spend the next 90 minutes of the stream arguing? Because I will forego selling any book to defend that movie. That was it. Please put in if you enjoy Troy, please put that in the chat right now. Because let's shame Karma the Bird Girl. How do you say Troy was a bad movie? Please, so
Brad,
anybody in the chat.
Brad's lace front alone just didn't work.
Oh
The
my
whole thing.
goodness. Let's please tell me what you think about in the chat, because I can't be the only one that loves that movie. Anyways, but see, now you made me lose my train of thought. But what I was trying to say is that also people that have read my books, you would notice that in the chapter breaks, there's a lot of detail that I go into talking about. So what you just saw, here's the real life inspiration for where it comes from, because it's very important for me for people to truly understand. Because yes, I want to entertain and inspire in my books, but I also look at my storytelling as an opportunity to actually also educate people about, the African continent, obviously the country of Nigeria, cultures like Yoruba, as well, because a lot of times, Africa is seen, even just using the term Africa to sort of like put an umbrella term on the whole continent. Like Africa is a continent of 54 countries, over 3,000 tribes. Nigeria alone has over 300 tribes in it, even though Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo are the main ones. So it's important for me to really dig deep into the culture, to really escape from this, you know, this thing that people think that, okay, Africa is just one big place where it's like we're all lumped into that
Right.
continent and we all speak the
Africa's
same.
not a country.
Yeah, exactly. So that's also a part of my inspiration, is to really get specific as to what exactly inspires this, and to show people the different sides of the continent itself, and get very specific in terms of where the inspiration is coming from.
Awesome. For those of you just joining us, we are talking about it's Oloris launch day. I'm Karen Mahorn, aka the Blurred Girl, and I'm talking with Youneek Studios founder Roy Okupwe about uh, the characters, actually about his universe, because a lot of these characters, and we're about to hit these characters right now, we're about to get into this, they are all sort of existing in a combined universe. So you
Yeah.
talked about EXO, you talked about Malika. There's also Woodmaker.
Yes.
There's also Firefrost,
Yes.
and
I'm not helping. I want to
I
I want to see how
know
good. I
you're
want to
not
see.
you're not helping me at all. Well, I mean, I was
There's
gonna say
freelance. Okay, so
exactly. Well,
yeah,
there's freelance, but freelance is sort of part of Malika's story. But
yeah,
also there is Iano, but Iano's not in this part. This is not that what we're starting off with in volume one. And actually, let's just pull up some of these characters. So we've
yes, yes,
talked about
please,
EXO.
yes,
So that's Wale Williams. Oh, I
yes,
left out Fury, his girlfriend. That's who I left
yes,
out.
yes, you did.
Just the first. Sorry. You're like, yes, yes, you did. Um, and I know we've got Malika.
Of course, everybody's favorite. Yes.
Yes. And
Mhm.
then we've got, I think I'm
By the
gonna
way, I'm trying to see how long this stream is going to go before someone asks me about the Malika animated
oh,
series.
I'm pretty sure it's already
So
happened.
I
I
was like,
just haven't
yeah, I've just been waiting for that question. Sorry, go ahead.
so and we also have Bo. And you know what? Before we go any further, I just want to a couple people. Joe Marip from Instagram, juiced to receive the Oloris today. Congrats on this major milestone. Thank you,
Thank
Joe
you,
Marip. Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
you, thank you so
Uh
much.
I was saying Malika wrong for so long. It wasn't until it's Malika. Listen,
Yes,
listen. I was saying Malika
Malika.
too
Yeah.
because I got a cousin named Malika and it's spelled the same way.
Yes,
And
yes, it
so
is.
you're not wrong, but this is
It's
Malika.
Malika.
Yes,
Yes.
FDN Entertainment.
There's a funny
So
story.
good. Thank
There's Oh,
you.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, no,
Go
it's
ahead.
okay. We
I was
got
gonna. I was gonna say there's a funny story behind the Malika thing. So it was. This is. I can't believe I'm saying this on a live stream because I can't take it back. But by the way, what happened was Malika was originally spelled Malaika. So
yes.
Malika in Swahili means angel, right?
Right.
And if you've read the story of Malika, if you've read, volume one and volume two, you would know exactly why that is tied in. However, when I sent the name to my lawyer to trademark, I left out the A.
See,
So
this is how stuff
that
happens. You think it's all deep, and it's just a very simple.
it's not deep.
It was just
It's not deep. So
it
I
was
was
a
at that point,
misspelling.
yeah, it was a typo. And at that point in time, I just had to live with it. But then, if you look at it, Malika in Arabic means queen. So
That
angel
works.
queen, yeah, I was just like, well, yeah, it's a good mistake to make, and I can ride with that. So just wanted to put that funny story out there.
So, for those who don't know, Malika is this ancient warrior queen, but
Yeah.
through the magic of, I don't know, would you call them the gods of the unique
Yeah,
universe?
so they're called the divine ones. That's the technical term for what we call these beings, larger than life beings that sort of like work behind the scenes and have these incredible abilities. But yes, in for all intents and purposes, they are the gods of the universe, and they've literally had an influence even though sometimes you don't see it directly in every single book and every single story that I've written so far.
In particular, this guy.
Yes, this guy,
This
this
is
guy.
Oris.
Yes,
Oris.
this is Oris, aka the Prince of Light. If you can look at what he's holding right now, you look at that sword. You can. I don't want to spoil the story for anyone that hasn't read Malika, but if you go back to Malika's image, you will see that they're holding the same sword. So there's a story that connects Malika to this guy, and I'm just
Hmm.
gonna leave it there for those who haven't read it.
Yeah, can I
The
just
books
tell
as
you?
well.
I just realized he had lights going around his neck. I've never seen them because all I see is dragon.
that
All I
that's
see is
it because
dragon.
that dragon does command a lot of attention.
Yeah,
And
I'm
shout
just.
out to Toyin Ajetumobi who did that image. Those all those images that you saw right now. He's a fantastic artist. So yeah, that's a really powerful image.
So let's go back to Malika real quick.
Yes.
So she was basically a and still is a warrior queen, but she
Mm-hmm.
moved from her time into present day
Yes.
because of magic from
Yes. From this
Oris.
guy.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So
I can see how you're trying not to spoil it at the
yeah, I'm
same
trying really hard. But I mean, hey, but I
time.
think that's the nice thing about Oloris though
Yeah.
is you don't have to have read all the other
No.
ones. It's
No.
just sort of like a nice sample. When you read this story,
Yeah.
you're getting a little bit of the backstories of all of these characters,
Yes.
and without having to go back to the beginning. I mean, we want you to go back and read all of them, but
Yeah.
this is a great way to just kind of hop in.
Yeah.
So her now she is not really connected to EXO. They're in the same universe, but
Mm-hmm.
EXO and Fury are
Yes.
connected.
Yes,
Now,
they're in the same book.
now
Yes.
Fury is the speedster,
Mm-hmm. Correct.
and EXO he has this mech suit, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
just mech. It's not just all technology, right? Like,
No, it's not. There's a spiritual and supernatural angle to the technology. And one of the ways I try to describe it, if anybody has watched the first Thor movie, there was a line that when Thor was talking to Jane Foster, where it's like you guys in your world, what you see as magic is sort of like a blend between science, between the
it's
knowledge
technology.
is technology and science that you haven't discovered before. So the thing about EXO suit is that from our perspective, when we're reading the books, it does look like magic, but from the divine one's perspective, like ancient and thousands of years ago, it was their technology as well. And again, there's stuff from Yoruba culture, history, and mythology that is also tied into that as well. So it's not just like an arbitrary type of thing that it's like, oh, like it's just like this type of magic that just looks cool.
Mhm.
There's layers and layers of culture and mythology that's done in a way where it's not overwhelming that you have to understand it, but it's a nice sort of like icing on the cake that sort of like brings home our central theme, which is always to uplift African history, culture, and mythology and blend education and entertainment in a way that's seamless for people to enjoy our content. So yeah, it's really really for me one of the big things I'm the most proud of is to be able to, like I said, not just entertain but intertwine culture, history, and mythology into the stories in a way that people like. A lot of times people come back to me and like, look, I read your book, I researched this, and I just found out that X was true or Y wasn't true or whatever the case may be. And to me, that's one of the most rewarding parts of this job is when people can read your story and they want to know more about the culture. So yeah, it's really just something that I'm very proud of not just myself but the team at large that we've been able to put together in these books.
I can't put this on screen because technology won't let me, but we do have the comment. Clover Man says, "Been wanting to know when Malika animated series is coming out." So there you go.
That's like
We got it. It happened. It happened. We got your comment. But FDN Entertainment, man, look, y'all are great. As a creator, I love what is happening here. This is great. Thank you so much,
Thank
FDN
you.
Entertainment. And
Appreciate it.
for those of you who don't know, also we have a couple guests that are going to be showing up. For those of you who are looking for the winners of the gift card giveaway, we're going to be announcing that as well towards the end.
I entered the competition, by the way.
I'm like, that's not how this works. You can't win it because you're running it. So, yeah, we're gonna have to figure out. If your name comes up in the thing, we're gonna just skip it. Anyway, So okay, so we got EXO, we got Fury, we talked about
Yeah,
Malika.
yeah.
Before we get to Bo, I want to talk about Fire Frost a little bit.
Yes, 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 yes,
Um,
yes.
for those of you who are anime fans, if you like Todoroki, you are gonna
You will
love
love
Fire
Fire
Frost.
Frost. Yes.
But how I think the most interesting thing about her is also dragon related.
Yeah.
How did she get her powers? And like, have we seen her final form?
No, we
I
haven't.
really need to
No,
know. Okay.
no. So Fire Frost is the only person in the universe currently that has. So one of the things that and if this is for OG unique fans, like this book is not. I'm putting it. This book, Windmaker,
Yes.
the history of Atala. It's not even. You can't find it anywhere else. It's
Oh,
like
it's an art book. Right, right, right.
yeah, it's an art book. Like this book is sort of like the foundations of the universe. It was only available on Kickstarter, and some people are selling this one a very ridiculous amount of money
Are they
on
really?
Amazon right now. I'm almost tempted to sell mine, to be honest with you.
You are silly.
But where I was going with that is that if you've read this book, one of the things that you realize is that in the ancient times in the Youneek universe, there were these things called dragons, right? And each dragon had a specific power that was imbued with them. So some could, breathe fire, some could breathe ice, some could control the wind, others could control lightning. So there were different dragons with different powers. What happened that towards the end of the Divine Wars was that these dragons, their powers were condensed into what we call the Dragon Stones in the Youneek universe. So a lot of the heroes in our universe get their powers from these dragon stones. Fire Frost is the only one that has the power of two dragons, the ice dragon and the fire dragon. So that makes her very, very powerful, but she's also very, very hot-headed, where the moment she got her powers, she tried to challenge Malika. And if you've read the book, Malika gave her a single headbutt that knocked her out to put her back in her place. So in all seriousness, like she's actually a very complex character. Fire Frost. She's a Zimbabwean Brit, and she again, I'm trying not to spoil too much of the story. She's a very, very feisty character, but there's a reason why she's like that, right? So when you get to see her backstory about some of the things that made her who she is, it's more of an endearing story how she came to get her powers and what she's trying to do moving forward. But the moment she comes onto the scene in the Oloris, there's a lot that I think people will start to get to like about her, even people that have not read the Malika books and seen her story, as well. So yeah, she's a very like all the other characters, they're all very layered. Whereas I try not to create characters that are just Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, where it's like they're all good. All these characters, including Malika herself, have these very, very glaring flaws that all of them try to sort of like come to terms with as they play this superhero figure in the Youneek universe. And to me, I just think that some of the best characters are the ones where you can not only see what you aspire to be in them, but you can see some of your flaws in them and how they're trying to handle it with their superpowers as well.
Mhm, mhm. I mean, that's giving old school X-Men. Like, that's one of the reasons why I really
Yes.
used to like Chris Claremont's X-Men back in the day, because some of them were just teenagers with problems that happened to have
Yes.
powers. They just happened to be
Yes.
mutants. And so I
Yeah.
used to love that about that. But I love the fact that these are all African characters.
Yes. Correct.
Um, the Actually, that's what I meant to ask you because I always get this wrong. What is Firefrost's nationality? I know she's mixed,
Yeah.
but I
So
can't
she
remember.
Yeah, so she was born in Zimbabwe, by the
Zimbabwe.
way. Yeah, so that's in the southern parts of Africa and grew up in London. And just so you know, there are white people in Africa.
Yeah,
So,
I think there might be a few by now, yes.
yes,
I've heard.
and I believe Elon Musk is
He's South
Africa.
African.
Yes. So
Yeah.
whatever you want to do with that, please do with that. I'm just gonna leave it there. But yeah, so yeah, she is Zimbabwean. And to me it was really important to there's parts of her story that tie to the fact that she is, if you've read, Malika, she is a white African.
Mhm.
And to me it was a challenge that I really wanted to take upon myself to show, like I said, all the sides of Africa that people don't get to see on a daily basis as well too.
I believe she was the first mixed character that you wrote, I believe.
Mm,
Um,
no, Fury is actually mixed as well. She's biracial.
oh, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot. So
yeah.
let's talk about Bo next.
Yes.
So Bo, and it's interesting because I think Windmaker is one of those stories that shows you the pantheon a little bit, like shows you history,
Mm-hmm.
because technically there's two Windmakers. This
Correct.
this is the younger one, but
Yes.
let's explain who Bo kind of is. To I mean, obviously he's got the powers of the wind, obviously, but
Yeah.
let's talk about what like why there are two Bows in the Youneek universe and who they are.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see what I want to spoil and what I don't want to spoil. So yeah, like you said, there's the legendary Windmaker, which was Bass,
Mhm.
which existed in Malika's timeline in the 15th century, and now we have Bull,
In the
who is
future.
the future, the current Windmaker. So legendary and current Windmaker, Malika timeline and present day timeline is how we separate them. Somehow the powers from Bass, the legendary Windmaker, has been passed on to Bo. I'm just gonna come and say it. Like so, Bo is the son of Malika and the legendary Windmaker Baz. If you've
Right,
read the
so it's his
Malika story,
bloodline. It's his blood. It's the
it is
bloodline.
it is bloodline. I'm sorry, Malika has been out for years and
That's
years.
what I'm
If you
saying.
haven't
Like,
read it, if you hadn't read it now, sorry, I spoiled it for you. So that's not my problem.
but actually, it has to go. It's going back to this. We said
Yes.
he is responsible for her being like able to be in this timeline. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
haven't, there's more to Malika than just that time travel thing. You could still read it and still be, act
Yes.
surprised when you get to that part.
Yes, I know, but yeah, so he's a cross between I say cross. He's a child
I was gonna say he is okay. Genetically, he is a cross. That is
genetically.
that is what we call a child.
Yes, he is a child of both Malika and the legendary Windmaker, which does give him an immense amount of power. But with Bo, he is a pacifist, right? So it's to me, it was really interesting to write somebody that has all the power in the world but doesn't want to use it at all. And how does that person then what is the thing that sort of forces them to come out of their shell and use this power that they've been blessed with? So it's a very interesting juxtaposition between somebody who doesn't want to fight but has the most power, at the time obviously of the writing of the Windmaker in his entire country, which is the Republic of Atala as well. So yeah, Bo is a very interesting character for me to write. Like, I mean, again, just like my other characters, like to me, it's like always trying to give them not just these powers that make them larger than life in a way where they can solve any problem as quickly as possible, but also giving them traits that counteract what we would expect heroes to be is something that I feel like is an interesting read. So you see that in the Windmaker series, but you also see Bo coming into the Oloris as well. For the first time, he's meeting his mother,
Hmm.
Malika, because she's been looking for him for decades, and literally that's another set of baggage that these two have to deal with. It's like finding your mother or finding your son for the first time in decades, but then it's in the middle of
Oh,
a war essentially. So how do you sort of juggle those emotions and still get to be a hero where it's like you have to save people, you have to fight against evil? Again, to me, it's like those are the kind of positions I like to put my characters in to see how they react to like everyday issues. Like we all have issues that we have to deal with and then still go to work, right? Like there are things that happen at home or with family and then you still have to show up to work. How do you balance that? So to me, I find that like these type of sub layers in your characters are what makes them endearing because we get to see ourselves in them as
well,
well.
it's also it's also a compliment to your writing because we've got two different timelines,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have to see this character's growth. And what's also really cool is that even though the Oloris, which is what we're celebrating today,
Mm-hmm.
is her really a side story, is her reuniting with him.
Yeah.
People who've read Malika and even read the second Malika story when we first meet Firefrost,
Mm-hmm.
we're all trying to figure out, like, is she gonna find this child? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that. And
Yes.
so this is answering that question. So you're giving something to longtime fans, and you're also giving a new story to people who've
And
never seen
I can't
before.
stress that enough that the Oloris is an entry point into Unique Universe. I intentionally wrote it that way. So from your perspective, if you're just a new person, you're going to come into the Oloris looking at, oh, this woman has finally found her long lost son. and this guy who's been looking for his mom, they finally found themselves on a battlefield. How are they going to interact? How are they going to solve this issue? If you've been reading with us since the beginning, literally from Malika, you are going to see that payoff of, oh wow, Malika has finally met, Bo. And if you've only read the Oloris, you can go back and see what led up to that. So again, if you've read one of our books, zero of our books, 10 of our books, Oloris is the perfect place to, to get more of our stories, even if, like I said, whatever stage in the process of the unique universe that you're in.
Absolutely. The tiny art, I can't say much, but I'm super proud of you and the whole Youneek company. I want you to know that I look up to you in this industry. That's
Thank you
coming
so
from
much.
Instagram. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So
Appreciate it.
moving into more of these characters that
Yeah.
we are going to see in the Oloris. And for those of you just joining us, today is the launch day for Youneek Studios graphic novel, The Oloris, which is the first crossover story of almost all the characters in the Youneek universe. And we're kind of meeting the characters now. Let's see. We have Oh, yes. I and it's funny. I thought Freelance was a new character, and then I had to go back into Malika. I'm
Like,
like,
yeah,
oh, I
he
was
was
like,
there as
he
well.
was a dude in the tank.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he sure was. Yeah.
I didn't
But
realize it. It took me like, I'm like, how does he keep saying that this is not a new
first,
character?
yeah, yeah,
Which explains his entrance actually a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So let's talk about Freelance a little bit.
Yeah, so Freelance is my first non African, character. He's an American. And to me, this was my way of expanding the unique universe beyond the borders of Africa, right? Like there's a lot. If you look at all the stories that have gone on in Malika, in EXO, in Windmaker, there's a lot of things that are focused on the continent, and very intentionally. I mean, that was done intentionally, from my part, but it's a world, right? It's a universe. It's not the unique Africa, right?
Right.
Even though there's a lot of stories, and all our stories have take place on the continent. But for me, this was my first step to expanding the unique universe into a broader landscape. And what better way than to introduce an American, right? So, so for me, Freelance, the way I look at him is his name is Lance, actually Lance Freeman, hence the term freelance. He was a Black Ops U.S. Black Ops soldier that has been deployed to Afghanistan and also parts of West Africa as well. So he has ties to the continent. So he's very familiar, with that area. But for me, without spoiling too much of the story from Malika and the Oloris, he comes in at a point where we really want to expand the story to see how are people outside of Africa reacting to the threats on the continent itself. Like, how does America respond to Africa being, on fire? Essentially, I don't want
Right. Well, well,
to.
and that's how. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you know this is fiction because America does it. So,
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
nope, I did. But
But
no, but I do want to talk about how he's
yeah,
connected, which
yeah,
is Hassan. So
yes,
Hassan, he's actually directly related to Hassan Bakwa. Now,
yeah. So Hassan, let me.
is Hassan a good guy or a bad guy? Help me out.
He's an anti-hero.
He's an
He's
anti-hero.
an
Okay.
anti-hero. So he's somebody that's slowly finding his way. So Hassan's backstory is, if you read Malika, I'm going to spoil some things again, but again, Malika has been around. If you haven't read it by
We've
now,
had years, y'all. Years.
yes, but you can still enjoy the story even after what I've said. So Malika had a big feud with her sister Nadia. Essentially, Malika's story is light overcoming darkness, which is a central theme for the entire unique universe. It's just it's very concentrated in Malika. Nadia was her sister who, unfortunately, Malika had to battle, and Nadia ended up dying at during the Malika period in the 15th century. But Nadia had a child that Malika was not aware of. So not only was Malika transported with the powers of light to the future, Nadia's son Hassan was propelled as well with the powers of darkness into the future. So Hassan is essentially a remnant of Malika's worst nightmare, which is having to put down her sister. So he comes into the story with a
So
lot of rage.
he's an angry nephew.
Yes, believe it or not, that's
Okay.
again, these are very, very relatable stories, but they're just obviously told on a very grand scale with superpowers. Like there's things like this that does happen on a daily basis in families where somebody does something to somebody, people hold it in for 20 years, and then it erupts during a family reunion. I don't have to go for that.
Yeah, these family reunions with all these people with superpowers.
Yeah,
Arguments are, yeah, they must have multiple homes because
yeah.
these places get destroyed.
Exactly.
These
But
people stay angry.
yeah, but one of the things that is also very central to a lot of my storytelling is family. I think that's the one thing that we can all relate to, good, bad, and ugly. And you see a lot of these different themes of family show up in the story. So Hassan is driven by rage and revenge, which is similar to what his mother was driven by. But now Malika has to find a way to sort of like make up for something that she thinks was a mistake, but was something she did as duty as queen. She had to choose Azaz, her kingdom, over her sister.
Hmm.
But now she's sort of like reliving that nightmare with her nephew wanting to kill her because he killed her mother. How it's tied to how we tie Freelance and Hassan together is that Hassan has also been doing a lot of like assassination jobs for different shady characters over his, because he had to do that to sort of like learn how to harness his powers. And one of the people that he had to destroy
So
was,
he kills people.
yeah, he kills people. He does that. And he's an angry guy. Like he has to get that rage out. Unfortunately, he didn't go to therapy, which a lot of these superheroes need to go on, to for all intents and purposes. But back to the story, like so, Freelance, when he was with his Black Ops squad in some parts of West Africa, encountered Hassan, and Hassan killed his entire squad and kidnapped him and tortured him and experimented on him, and that's how Freelance got his powers. So essentially, Freelance wants to kill Hassan, who wants to kill Malika, and everything sort of comes to a head when the entire continent of Africa is on fire, and that's how we start the Oloris. So the book starts up really, really fast and really, really quick, and you're really thrown into the action, not in a way that's overwhelming, but in a way that where you can feel like the stakes are very high for each and every one of these characters. And the central question that I try to pose is, what do you do when your personal agenda has to be put aside for the greater good? Are you able to put your revenge, your rage, your desire to be with your mother, your desire to be with your son, your desire to, continue to just look at things from your own bubble in your own continent or your own country, like what happens when the stakes are raised and you have to put aside your personal agenda? Will you rise to the occasion as a hero, or will you fall to your desires for revenge or your desires for whatever it is, to being a pacifist in the case of the Windmaker? How do each and every one of them react to their flaws in the midst of one of the greatest threats to the continent in the history of the continent's existence? So that is a central question that's posed in the Oloris. And like I said, I think it sets the stage for a fantastic story that people can enjoy in volume one.
It absolutely does. And I think that what's interesting about it is that I just keep thinking about that comment you made, how they all need therapy.
Yes.
What therapist, like, how much do you know the amount of insurance that that therapist is gonna have to have? Like, how, like, you rage out and you burn down the whole place. Like, how
Yeah.
does that work?
Yeah.
How does that
And
work?
I wouldn't want to be a therapist for somebody that's, essentially. So his Hassan's code name is Akbanero, and that in
Mhm.
Yoruba means the destroyer.
Mm.
So
And
I
see,
can
his
be
mama named him wrong. See, she
I
set
can
that up. She set that
I
up.
don't want to be on the other side of the couch listening to your stories and knowing that you have the power to literally incinerate me with electricity. So yeah, good luck to that therapist, by the way.
Let's get into the rogues gallery a little bit.
Yes. Yes, big
Oniku.
bad.
Oniku's been around since EXO,
Since
right?
the first book, since literally the first story I've written, Oniku has been around. And if you haven't read EXO, Oniku is the central and main villain of the first arc of EXO story. He has returned mysteriously because we thought he was dead at the end of EXO Volume One, and he's back and he's worse than ever. So Oniku's drive is the purification. He started off with the purification of just Nigeria itself, like because of what he saw as the myopic view of the leaders and the corruption. He felt like the country itself would be better under military rule. Um, and he was obviously defeated by EXO, and now he's taking his sights. He realized that he was being myopic by looking at just one country, and now he's looking at the entire continent. But one of the things is that Oniku does get his hands on a divine weapon, which has now made him more powerful than ever. And he has summoned, I don't want to spoil the book too much. He has summoned, let's just say, some extraterrestrial supports
Mm-hmm.
that he's using to subjugate the entire continent. His drive is to essentially unite the entirety of Africa and, make it a giant player in the global phase, because he feels like Africa has been looked down upon, rightfully so, for a very, very long time. And it's time for Africa to step up and really challenge everybody else, but only with violence, like they will say. So that's sort of like his driving point. But yeah, there's different things that I've pulled from different books in terms of getting Oniku to where he is right now. But again, if you haven't read any of the stories, you would definitely get what his motivation is about very early on, in the Oloris Volume 1.
Awesome. Now, before we get into some more of this Rogues Gallery, I want to introduce one of our guests, because we have a couple, but I wanted to
Yes.
surprise everybody. So we have with us today, I'm going to just bring you on now, Morby. There he is. Hi, Morby.
Hey,
How are
can you guys hear me
you?
very well?
Yes.
Yeah,
And this is Toyinaje Tumobi. Did I say it right?
Let me do that
you
introduction.
you
Thank
you said it as best as you can.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Toyin Ajetumobi. Yes. So
Wait, let me practice.
Yeah.
Toyin Aje
oh,
Tumobi.
that's better.
So
That's
the
much
thing
better.
is, it's musical, right?
It's
So it's like
musical, yes.
Ajetumobi. So
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
Aje
yeah,
Tumobi.
Ajetumobi.
Aje
Yeah,
Tumobi.
yeah. That's closer.
God.
That's
So
closer.
now you Moby.
Yeah. Yeah. So for
And
English speakers, it's just Morbi.
There's
We
Morby. Okay. And we have
yeah,
another
yeah.
guest with us as well, who, and I'm going to see if I can do this one better. Let's see. Hello. Hello. I believe that Akimboye Sukangi. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Better,
You sound like you're
about
a
as
woman
well.
better, better.
Yeah.
So I just want, so Morby, you are the colorist, and Akimboye, you are
Yep.
the artist, correct? Or did I flip those around?
Nope, you got it right.
You got it right.
No,
I got it right. Great. And so this is, you are looking at the creative team behind the Oloris. And I know you all have probably worked on other unique projects as well, but it's so, we see Roy a lot, but it's rare that we get to meet the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats. Welcome to, we're celebrating the launch of the Oloris today. For those of you in the chat who are excited, oh look, B1 for Life is excited. We have, just so you all know, we're live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you see me going like this, it's because I'm looking at a bunch of different screens trying to get all our comments.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. And we were just going through. We just went through the heroes of the Oloris, and we just started to go into the Rogues Gallery a little bit, talking about Oniku, starting with him. But I would like to talk about how all of you were able to work together to get this book done, because where is everybody located? I know, Roy, you're in Maryland somewhere.
Yes, I'm in Maryland, about 20 minutes from Baltimore and
Okay.
45 minutes away from DC. But Tony and Sukomi, they're both in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, so and I'm in New York. So let's see. It is 1:25 my time. What time is it where you lot are?
7:25 p.m.
7:25. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Roy, how do you manage to create a book where half of your team is 6 hours ahead of you?
So, I mean, the secret is, and one of the reasons why I'm going to talk about this quote unquote secret is because, like, so you have to understand, someone like Sukomi has literally been working with me since day one. Sukomi is essentially like a partner. He's not just like an artist that I work with. Like, I mean, like it's crazy to see Sukomi. We've been working together for 10 years now. Now that I say
Woo!
that, like I feel like gray hair is just growing all over my face as I say that. But Sukomi is the type of person. Sukomi has complained about this. When I write my scripts for Sukomi, like I can't even. Oh, yeah, he dropped off.
Oh.
We'll bring him back. But
Let's see what happened.
yeah, when I write my scripts for Sukomi, I can't even share that with anybody else because it's really
I got him.
okay. So you have him back because I
Yep.
want him to be.
There we go.
Hey, I was saying that. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was telling the story that, you know, lately when I write my scripts for you, there's so much shorthand that I can't even give my scripts to anybody else because they would think I'm a terrible writer. That's how much he understands so he's like Sukomi makes my job so easy. Literally sometimes I just from like I would say page 50 to page 55 fighting. I don't even have to describe what it is anymore. Like literally I'm telling you, and to me that's one of the reasons like we don't necessarily communicate as much as we used to, not because it's a bad thing, but because Sukomi and now obviously Tony as well, they understand so much of how this world works that it just makes my job easier to be able to just say, just do this like we did this before. Or, you know, remember what we did in this book, this is how we're bringing it back. So part of the reasons why a lot of these books are successful, and let me just say part of the reason, a lot of the reasons why is because I've worked with the same people for over, like I said, like 10 years now. I've been working with Morbi, like what, 4 years now? Would it be this year or even more? Like I've lost track of time as well. Tony,
yeah,
it's like 4 years, right?
Yeah,
5? 4. Yeah.
4 actually 4.
Yeah. So that's to me that's why
4
it's
2020.
yeah, that
it started 2020.
yeah, 2020. Yeah, that's why it's easier for me to be able to not necessarily stay up all night or wake up early in the morning to communicate, is because we already have an understanding of how things work.
So do you give sort of an outline for Akinboye to get started with, or are you giving him full scripts?
So I give him full scripts. And I'm gonna also, you know, tell on myself again is that even because I've gotten so busy, sometimes I'm not able to give full scripts. So I give him like 20 pages every month now.
I was gonna say because it's 160, you got 140 some odd pages.
I can't do that anymore. Before I would give him all like 120 pages, but now I can't even try that anymore. And I know he hates me for it because Sukomi likes to go through the entire thing.
Okay, wait. This is what I'm gonna do. I want to ask them what it's like working for you.
Yes.
You want me? Y'all want
Don't
me?
lie, please.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to mute him? I'll mute him. Here. I'll mute him, and then you can tell me what it's really like working for Roy Okubwe. Okay. He can't say anything. No one can hear him.
Yeah, don't worry. Roy and I go way back. There are very few things I can say that he doesn't already know.
Yeah.
Talk about relationship. He got into it, you know, the back and forth, the proverbial death threats. You know, because sometimes Roy's gonna write a script.
The truth comes out. See? That's why I did that. Yeah, that's why he's on mute.
That was it. You know, we're building a relationship, and looking back, I think that was, you know, us to stick it out, despite any difference in opinion that we had. We understood what it was we're trying to achieve.
So listen, blink twice if you're in trouble, honey. We got you. We blink twice. We will get you.
I'm good.
He says he's in Nigeria, but no. Roy keeps him in his basement.
No, the threats were from me to him.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't see, and I've never seen any of these guys, and I also want to extend it to all the other people that have worked with me, from like Ayodele Legba to Raphael Kazim, Etubi Onuche or Chimakalu. I've never seen them as working for Youneek Studios. Like I work with them, like we're partners. Like so, there are things that Sukomi will tell me, or I'll tell him to do, and it's like, dude, I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous. Here's what I'm going to do instead. No, I'm serious. And like to me, that's true collaboration. Like you have to be able to listen. There are times where he wants to do something. I'm like, oh, never. This is never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way we interact. And to me, I think that's the best way you can work with a partner. Is not necessarily just be like, oh, okay, I'm the one sort of like hiring you to do this job. Like I've never seen them that way, and they can attest to that. That's not the way I work, and that's not the way I think any of this should work, to be honest with you. So I think that's also one. Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna check with Morby to see if that holds up. But actually, before we get to Morby, he has a compliment here. Let's see. The Mad for Mode, the Jedi artist art of Morby is in the building. And listen, I can attest. I'm a fan of Morby's work. I'm sorry that I didn't say your name right, but I do like your work, and I love the artwork. You saw me yelling about your Iyanu artwork and things like that. Tell me how in addition to being an illustrator, you're also a colorist, and you were a colorist on this book. So when you're doing the color work, are you talking to Roye at all? Or are you just talking? Is Akinboye just sending you, inks, and you're just getting them out as fast as you can?
Yeah.
He's like, pretty much. That's it. That's all I do.
So most of the times, Sukomi is always ahead of me. Yeah.
It's okay. I'll mute him again. It's okay. I'll mute Roye, so you don't have to be afraid.
Pages minimum. So he's always ahead of me. So I have.
Yeah. I think.
I'm always working on pages, and when I send them.
It's okay. We can hear you, Morby, when you send them.
Okay, I think there was a lag somewhere, so I was just being careful. So I'm always sending pages in, and both of them are always like, how do I say it? Are directing it, right? So it's like sometimes I might make a mistake with like the mood of something, and there's like maybe the mood is like something warm, and maybe I do something maybe a night scene, right? So majorly there's always corrections of like, oh, you have to check with the mood of this. So it's not something that is like nitty gritty, right? It's more or less like the overall feeling, that each color page needs to have, right? So basically, it's a thing where we are always looking at it together, right? So sometimes if they tell me that, we think so and so and so, I can push back, maybe based on my own experience, basically, and just be like, oh, this is what I was going for, right? And I think that this would help communicate what I saw in the script better, right? So it's very much a collaborative process. So it's really fun. I would say anytime we're doing interviews and Ray is like, oh, my scripts are shorthand and all that, I can't understand what he's saying, because to me his scripts are super detailed. You get, it's like you can see something like, I want this effect from this YouTube clip at 2 minutes, between 2 and 3 minutes. I'm like,
see, the truth comes out. The truth comes out.
I always wonder how much it just says how much time. Yeah.
Here we are thinking.
So it's like it puts so much time in the script. I'm like.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Here we are thinking Roye is making it seem like he's sending you like five words a page, and he's giving you very, very detailed scripts.
I didn't say that they weren't detailed. I just said that they were a little bit messy. They are messy. They're just Sukomi knows what I'm talking about. The scripts I wouldn't post any of my scripts online. I would have to edit them before I send it out. It's messy. The detail is there, but it's really messy, where it's like if it was somebody that didn't, especially, and this is more for Sukomi than Tony, if it wasn't somebody that already understood what this world was about, what this character, because you have to understand, Sukomi has drawn literally every character that has appeared in this unique universe, and a lot of them he also actually helped in the actual character design of the characters as well too. So he knows what I'm talking about. you know.
So I have some interiors that I wanted to share that we can also all discuss. And thank you, but listen, I'm joking around, but these guys are very, very talented. Make
Very,
no mistake. Make no mistake.
very.
We have a lot of amazing people in the chat. Afro Geeks is like, this is amazing. Oh, Joy of Odu. Hey, Joy. She's just got all her Nigerian flags up. I see a lot of really incredible people that are in the comments that are like, this is the most amazing stuff I've seen. I keep showing you, I've shown several pieces of art like this. And I just want to be sure that, I've seen these here, but I also want to show some interiors. So
Yes,
I
please.
don't think a lot of people realize that the interiors are just as good. So it's
Mhm.
really funny. You said that Freelance is a good guy, but I can't see it here because here he's fighting Fury.
I said anti-hero.
Yeah. Okay.
said-
No, I thought Hassan was
Both
the
of them,
anti-hero.
both of
Okay.
Hassan and Freelance, they're both anti-heroes. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went a little bit out of order there. So we have this was one of their fights, and then let's see.
Oh, by the way, Sukomi is also a martial artist. I wanted to just put that
Oh,
out
that
there.
helps then with a lot
Yeah,
of these fight scenes.
yeah. So if you notice, like the form
Yeah,
of all the
yeah. Let's
characters
just
when
let's
they're
just chip it
fighting.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He said, let's just leave it there. But yeah, there's some of these interior pages are really awesome. I'm sorry if some of them are out of order here, but
That's fine.
I just want to give everybody a little bit of a taste
Yeah.
of and this was one of my favorites because since Wale, EXO and Fury are together, she stays like, "Why are you late?" He's like, "Babe, sorry, headwinds. Like, like I can only fly here so fast." And but this is the first time we kind of see in the comic. And for those of you who don't know, the first chapter is still available for free. There's a link in the Youneek Studios bio where you can actually download the whole first chapter, which is 20 something pages, and read the first chapter for free. I think it's fantastic. And I also think just Malika is just such a badass. She's like, yeah, I'm just going to jump off this plane and I'll land here. And,
and destroy like 50 robots as I'm falling down.
Exactly. Oh, you know what I meant to,
Yeah.
and this is also an excellent example of like color. So like we've got, I think it's EXO who's got his shield up. That's why it's blue. And then the explosion that happens over them. I don't know what his shield is made of, but that looks like a nuclear weapon. So whatever he did. But I just want to commend you all because I think there's often, yes, and then of course Malika's landing.
And if you also, I wanted to also say, like, even some of these pages, right? Like, you have all these different characters, like, in red, green, blue, purple, glowing chest, like, purple. Like, to find a way to balance all these colors in harmony, it's not an easy thing. Like, it looks pretty now, but that's where you need somebody that understands color theory to be able to come in and really bring all these things together, because you have to understand when we lost
him. Yeah, hopefully he'll come back.
Yeah, you have to understand when you create these individual characters in different books, you're not thinking about how they're going to look together when you bring all of them together. Like, that's just a problem. That's like, oh well, Tony will sort that out, but that's not easy. That's not easy thing to do. But,
here he is. We were just complimenting your color work, Morby.
I was saying,
yeah.
Tony, like,
I didn't see the page we're talking about. For some reason, it's not showing on my.
Let's go back to the page, Karma. The one, go back, the one that had all of them in the top right corner, I believe.
Oh, okay. Hang on. It's
this one. Yes.
I'm not sure if he can see. Can you see in the app that we're in? Can you see the page that's on the screen?
Yeah, on our restream backstage.
Yes, that's the page.
No, I can't.
You can't.
I don't think anyone can.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So basically, I can describe it. Let me describe it.
I can.
Right. So let me.
Okay, Boya, you can see it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So basically, it's the first time in Oloris when
we painted lots of pages. Okay, I can see it now. I can see it now.
You did. Were all the guys look up? Okay, good. Yeah, that was what we were talking about. And the fact that you have all these different characters, and we were complimenting, or Roy was complimenting your concept of color theory.
Yeah, I was saying basically, Tony, that these characters have their own individual books. So when we're designing them, like and putting their, okay, here's how their outfits is gonna
Yeah,
look.
yeah,
We're not thinking of putting
yeah,
all 7 of them in one panel and trying to balance purple with blue and black and red and glowing, blue and green for Malika and a glowing sword and all these type of things. Like I was just trying to explain that a lot of people don't know how hard it is, like from panel to panel, to balance this type of ensemble where it's like these characters are all of them in their own right, like really bright and colorful, but bringing it together it can't be an easy thing, can it?
Uh-oh, did we lose Morby?
I think there might be a delay.
yeah.
Okay.
It isn't per se. But there's Can you get me now? Okay, there is a delay, right?
Yes, there is.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh gosh.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll just know you guys are in the future and I'm in the past. But I got a question. I got a question. So yeah, so basically it's just a thing of trying to group them. I know that was my you guys just get that was my challenge with the Oloris book actually, is that there was a lot of characters and they had a lot of group shots where they were like especially later in the comic, I don't want to spoil anything, where there was a lot of group stuff. So I had to like employ different techniques to like, oh, you if anyone is paying attention, you notice there's some group shots where it's like I tint certain characters maybe in the foreground, I give
Mhm.
them a certain tint. Some characters in the midground, I give them a certain tint. Some characters in the background, I give them a certain tint. So it's just trying to group them, in different color groups where we don't lose the original colors, but you can also tell that, oh, I'm trying to separate them. But yeah, but it's fun. As much as it's fun, it has its own challenges. But Oloris is really great, honestly.
It is. And we have, for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. I'm Cameron Horn, aka the Blurred Girl, and I'm talking to Youneek Studios about today's new graphic novel, The Oloris. It's out today. Those of you who've been waiting to pre-order, you don't have to wait anymore because it's out. You can just buy it. And I am talking to the creative team here, and we're breaking down. There's some people that just came in. Welcome to those of you who just joined us. Some people were asking some questions about the power set. They might have missed what we talked about in the first hour. So just really quickly, we're going to run through some of these. We have, of course, the leader, Malika, the warrior princess, with her magical sword.
Yeah.
Actually, and the sword, she's also, without the sword, she can really fight on her own, right?
Yeah, I mean the sword is essentially an extension of what is inside her already. So it's not like the sword is giving her power. It's like it's meant to sort of like enhance it as well.
Right. And then we have
the power.
we have EXO, even though he has his really super powerful suit and AI powered suit, it also has a magical element to it. It's not just all tech.
Yep. Correct.
It's ancient tech.
Yes.
And then we have Fire Frost, who is the power of 2 dragons, ice and fire.
Correct.
And I hope everybody's okay back there. And then we have Bo.
Yes.
Bo is like Morby. He's in the past and the future.
Oh, nice.
He has the power, but Bo has the power of wind.
Yes, it does.
Harness the wind. He can harness the wind. We have Freelance. Now, actually, I meant to ask you before. Is Freelance a cyborg?
No, it's not.
He's not a cyborg.
It's not. No, he has the, like, if you go back to the image, right? So he's been genetically modified, and part of that experiment caused his right arm to turn into like rock, essentially.
Got it.
But with that comes the ability to manipulate, like what's the word, like seismic. So he has the power to manipulate like seismic energy, so he can cause earthquakes, like you can see what he's doing here in this image as well. He also has this gun that Sukami actually designed that has like a red laser on it as well, and also fires some really powerful payloads as well.
Got you. And by the way, all this art that we're looking at, Boya did this? Uh-oh. Somebody's coming in. And then we have Hassan, who we talked to. He has dark energy, but the dark energy is
So he has the power to manipulate lightning.
got it.
But yeah, but if you look at it right, like his lightning isn't just the vanilla blue, right? One of the things that if you actually
This is
research,
vanilla
like,
blue.
no, I'm serious, like, because lightning has different colors, right? And purple
Yes.
is usually like the most intense. That's why he actually has like his energy signature is purple. So just
you.
FYI. Yeah.
And then of course we have this is the Rogues Gallery. Real quick, we're gonna go through 3 of them.
Yes.
Oniku and
telekinesis
and listen, you have to read the Oloris, because if you thought he was deadly in EXO, he's got a whole other thing, a whole other level of crazy.
Yes.
Red Smoke, who actually is one of my favorite of the Rogues Gallery, because we don't know that much about her, but she's got like Banff abilities. That's what I call it.
Yeah, if you look at Nightcrawler from X-Men, they share similar powers. But first of all, this is one of my favorites, like pinups that Tony has done. To me, it's just
this is stunning.
Yeah, it's stunning, but it also sort of like accentuates the inner depths of the character. Like you can feel her rage, you can also feel like her internal spirit and fortitude as well. She's also a very, very, very complex character. She's shown up in not necessarily any graphic novel. She showed up in one of the free comic book day versions, Malika, Creed and Fury, which is in Malika volume 2. Yeah, you get it as a bonus at the end of the book. So, but yeah, this is also
can I say something about this pinup?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, because we do so many pages. I'm like, there was a fight scene where she was in Oloris, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember I told you when we walked on that page, I was like, yeah, that whole sequence. I remember telling you guys that this was my favorite to color, right?
Yeah.
So the energy from those pages, I really wanted to bring it back to that pinup, right?
To this pinup.
I really had a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on this pinup.
Sukome, you're about to say something.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which fight sequence was that.
Oh, it was a flashback.
Malika?
No.
In Oloris.
I'm just trying to be careful not to spoil anything.
Yeah, trying not to spoil it. I think I know what he's talking about. So Sukome is talking about the fight between...
that I was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you say it, because anything you spoil is you. So I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh my god. So, we don't want to spoil it, but the point is, we haven't seen her really. We haven't seen her really since that free comic book day, comic, and she gets more of a story here, which I think people are going to be, I just like her because she has these teleportation power. Basically, she's got my favorite power, and that is the power to leave. That's all I ever want to do is leave. That's like my favorite power.
In Nigeria, we call that jackpot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my superpower name. That would be my superhero name.
Jackpot.
I'll take it. Jackpot. I'll take it. And then I want to talk about Usa a little bit, simply because we talked about his brother Oloris. And I want dragon, y'all. If y'all like dragons, you also have to be reading these.
And if you can't tell by now, I love dragons. So.
Yes, I do. I do too. So Usei, explain just not necessarily giving away everything, but what is the purpose of Usei? I guess if Oloris is light,
he's dark.
Darkness.
Yes, and they're brothers, right? So I mean, think about it like. If you know one of the most famous stories from the Bible between Cain and Abel, like both children wanted to offer sacrifices. One tried to take shortcuts, and the other one did it the right way. Essentially, that's sort of like the story between these two, where it's like both of them were trying to get love from their father Atala, and Usei went about it the wrong way, and ever since then, like he's always had it out for his brother. And these two guys have essentially been sort of like from behind the scenes, sort of like crafting certain things in light and the dark parts of the universe to bring it all to a head in what we're going to see in Oloris, obviously volume 1, 2, and 3. So they've been working in the background, and now they're about to really show themselves as we get into the story, where this obviously our universe now is sort of like merging from all these different books.
We lost Morby. We wait. I think no, we didn't lose
No,
him.
no, no.
He's
I'm
coming
still
back.
around. I'm still around.
There's your image. There's your
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
Also, I just want a few more comments, and then we're gonna announce the two winners of the giveaway in a minute. Because time just flies.
It does.
Kenneth Gardner says there is. I'm proud to have Youneek Studios in my comic book graphic novel collection. The books are awesome and beautiful. Yes, they are.
Thank you.
22 AAA. Hey, the drop is today. The drop is right now. Yes, it is today. So if you want to get the Oloris, anybody who wants the Oloris, please go to your comic book shop, your favorite bookstore, and get it. And now, also in Nigeria, the books are available. Roy,
Yes.
tell us the name of the bookstore.
Book Nook in
Oh,
Lekki they're now carrying all our graphic novels. So I'm really excited because we've worked so hard
Wow.
to get the book to
Wow.
Lagos. It's been a really painful thing for me to not have my books being sold in the country where I was born and raised, in the country where most of these stories are inspired by. So please, if you're in Lagos, please go and support Book Nook and get all our books. Make sure everything is sold out. Because again, that signals them to buy more. So yes, if you're in Lagos and you're a fan of Youneek Studios, now you can grab our books at Book Nook, and you can also check them out online on Instagram at Book Nook Ltd.
Awesome. So I know we asked Morby well, he actually told us his favorite pages was the the fight that we can't really talk about with Red Smoke. Akinboye, can you tell us what your favorite page was to draw without spoiling too much?
I don't think he has any favorite page because I keep killing him on all the pages.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna. Hey, Boye, sir,
Okay, I'm done.
sir, I'm gonna
I'm
mute you
done.
again,
I'm
sir.
done.
That question was not for you. Okay, I'm muting him. Okay, so Akinboye, what was your favorite page?
I would pick the big reveal, where they were all, there was a particular scene, Roy, remember where they took down the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Oh.
Yeah, where they were all standing, and then everyone was I think that would be my best page. Roy, can we
Yes.
um,
Actually, I have a question from Studio Djembe who asks, any plans to have the books sold here in South Africa? I actually thought there was a store in South Africa that was
Yes,
selling the
we're
books.
working with one right now, literally. So if you follow us on social media, and obviously you can also sign up for our email. You'll be the first to know when that happens. This is the page he was talking about, by the way. It's a double spread. There's no spoilers here, so I can reveal
like
it's
like 2 days of work minimum.
yeah,
Hang on a second, I'm gonna try. Oop,
but it was fun.
2 days.
I had a lot.
2
Yeah.
I
days
had a
of
lot of
work.
fun during that. I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun
2
during
days
that.
of
No,
work.
I'm just saying from the colorist perspective. I'm sure the finances was like 1 week.
Yeah, this is actually a fantastic double spread page.
It is, and honestly, yeah, I can see how everybody worked really hard on that one. That's incredible.
Except me.
Except
Come on.
All I had to do was write it. It's like, just make this epic.
so I just want to ask a couple more follow-up questions before
Yeah.
we basically, wrap this up. We want to name our winners. Is there, if you had any advice to give anybody that is trying to do what you're doing? So like you showed, I don't know if you still have that stack that you showed in the beginning, Roy, but you have the stack of comments that even before you were part of Dark Horse Comics, Youneek Studios had kickstarted like 10, 12 Kickstarters to create all of these crowdfunded comics, high quality, because this is not just pretty pictures like that I'm showing you online here. That's like good paper, good, it's done really, really well. So my question is, if there's anybody aspiring comic book creators out there who are trying to do what you all are doing, I'm going to start with Roya about the writing part. And then I would like to ask our artists that are live here if they have any advice for aspiring artists. So you have a little bit of time to think. Roy, go ahead. You can answer first.
I mean, my own is simple. Marry the right spouse, first of all. I'm not lying to you. You need, in this creative work, you need somebody beside you that can really support you, because there can be the difference between success and failure, and I'm being very serious. So I mean, to extend that, just have the right support system around you. Single or married, you just have to have the people that are around you that support you, that believe in you. The second thing I'll say is, I think it's obvious from what you've seen in this interview, is that surround yourself with the right partners. You need to have people you trust. You need to have people that you share a common goal, a common vision. And then when you find those people, treat them right. Always treat them right, and always treat them like equals, treat them like partners, and never undermine or disrespect, artists of any kind. And then the third thing I would say is, find your own path, right? Like, nobody is going to be the same, right? Like, the way I made it to where I am right now is not the way you're going to make it. And always, at every point in time, give yourself grace. You have to also define what success is to you. For me, success was, if I can just get, whether it's part-time or full-time, get a chance to work on stories that I would love to read or I would love to see. That was success for me. It wasn't necessarily, okay, getting Dark Horse, or getting my Iano animated series made. Those things are successful, and it's part of what I aspire to do. But you also have to have a certain thing that grounds you, so that you're not always waiting for the next thing and the next thing to come as well. So yeah, that's all I can say is, find the right people to surround yourself with, find the right partners, give yourself grace, and just continue to work hard.
Wonderful. And in terms of the aspiring artists out there, what do you gentlemen think is the best advice to give them? Somebody who's trying to do this kind of work, this level of artistry. Like, what advice do you have for them?
Sukomi, go first.
I mean, you said quite a few. You definitely need to have the right support system, and you have yourself with the right people who are walking in the same direction. I have a confession regarding that. When Roy brought the first book, I was about ready to quit drawing comic book.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was seriously considering, I'm just gonna quit, because I work for other people. They didn't publish. They started, and I felt like all my dedicated hard work was going to waste. But then he showed up, and then there we are today. So it's very important, to work this path with the right people. And as an artist, you need a serious amount of discipline. I'm pretty sure Roy has heard me say this thing so many times. The amount of discipline that you need. You draw when you are sick, you draw when you don't feel like, you draw when you are happy, you draw when you're having a bad day, you meet your deadlines. I'm not perfect at it, but I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind. My discipline got me this far. I mean, apart from everything else, support system and all, but yeah, discipline is a very big part of being an artist.
Thank you. That's powerful. Morby, do you have any advice?
Man, everywhere is so serious right now.
You can lighten it up a little.
Well, I think I'll lean into more of like the technical stuff, since Ray and Sukomi have given us life advice, so basically for artists, especially colorists, I think the first thing I would say is probably just really try to be an all-round artist, right? A really rounded artist, right? So don't just think of it like, because I know comic production is a little bit streamlined, but I'd really advise that it's really good to be someone that can draw and paint and can be good at both, right? Because most times when I'm working with Sukomin's lines and all that, it takes someone that can really draw well to understand how to paint those things really well, right? And I've seen the differences between colorists that can draw and colorists that don't draw, right? So I would really advise for colorists that just be a real rounded. And then, of course, I mean, if I wasn't rounded, Roy wouldn't have asked me to work on the pinups, which is all over the place right now. I mean, and I'm really grateful for that. I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect some of those spin-offs to be like popular, especially the Yanu one. When people like were reacting to it, I was like, what are you guys seeing in it?
Are you
And those are the
kidding?
things that are like,
That
can I
crap is
recreate
fun.
that? I'm serious. I'm serious. The way it blew up, I was like, to this day, I'm like, can I really recreate that? Because I don't know what
Oh,
everyone saw. Something special must have been there, to be honest. But yeah, really be a rounded artist, to be honest. And then another thing, I think colorists need to learn how to just be a team player. Like you are not the only guy in the team, right? There's the writer, there's the artist, so you have to just put down your vision and just think of what's best for the team. So I think that's pretty much it.
that's incredible. And the one thing that I'm fascinated by is the fact that everybody kind of said have the right team, have the right partner. So many people work in isolation. So many people like, nah, I'm just going to do my own thing. I don't need anybody. But you
Mhm.
do. You
Yeah.
cannot make books of this quality, books at this level, if you don't have a team.
Yes.
So we are just about out of time. I want to just tell everybody again to pick up the Oloris. It's available now at your favorite bookstore, at your favorite comic book shop, and now in Nigeria in Lagos, finally,
Yes.
which is awesome. And
Yeah.
also the people
Yeah. That's so
who
great.
have been waiting to hear who are the winners of the $50 Amazon gift card. Roy, you can't enter. It's your contest. So sorry. Um, the first winner is Tope Ali. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yay.
And Tope, if you could DM us or DM Youneek Studios your email address, we can get you that. Sorry, of course. Now I'm the one with the ambulance
Sorry.
outside her window in the middle of Brooklyn. Sorry. One is Tope Ali, and the second one is um. Oh goodness!
You want to
Don't
spell?
don't yell at me if I say this wrong.
You want to spell it for us?
Fika, wait, hang on. Fika Yomi Adeniji. I think
Oh,
I
that's
said
not
that
bad.
right.
PK me.
I
Not
said it.
bad, actually.
Adeni.
I said it
Not
right.
bad.
Not bad.
We'll make you a Yoruba woman yet.
Yeah, see, we're gonna learn. I only know three things. I know Ekaro, Ekasana, Ekaleo. I know good morning,
Well,
good
no,
afternoon,
not.
good night. That's
Well,
it.
now you know jackpot. Now. You
All
know
I know.
jackpot now.
The jackpot, because that's my
To the cook.
superior name. Now all I need to know is learn how to make egusi and fufu, and I'm good. Um, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please, again, please tell everybody about the Oloris. Please tell everybody about the comic. Follow Youneek Studios on all these platforms. Thank you to everybody from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And if you see me go like this a lot, it's because I've been looking at all these screens and all these wonderful comments. I couldn't get to everybody's comment. K Squared, I saw yours. Thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate it. But the whole point of this is to get the word out about the books so that you will buy them, obviously, but also talk about them. If you can't afford it right now, just share an image.
Yeah.
I mean, Morby didn't realize his image would go viral. I don't know why, because it was amazing, but that's why it went viral, because people saw it and just shared it. So the more
Right.
you share it, the more we can get more done, and then maybe there will be a Malika animated series at some point. I don't know. But I also don't want to leave without letting everybody know that we're not done. Like, there's more stuff coming. Don't forget that Iyanu, the animated series, is on the way. And of course, we also have we have other comics coming out, but I don't want to
Take the
confuse
attention
anybody. So
away.
we're just going to talk about the Oloris today. So please tell everybody about the Oloris. Please comment, subscribe, share this live stream with other people. It's going to be up as a replay if you just came in towards the end. A lot of great advice here. And thank you from me for hanging out with us. Okay.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
guys.
day, everyone. Thank you.
Hey,
All right.
guys.
Thanks so much.